always hated weddings, not because I disliked love, I once believed in it with every cell in my body, but because weddings strip people down to their truest selves when the spotlight isn't on them, and I was never the bride. It was a warm May afternoon when we arrived at the coastal venue, everything white and gold and shimmering in the California sun. Richard's brother Thomas had spared no expense. Marble aisle, imported orchids, a quartet playing Vivaldi on a glass stage that jutted over the cliffside. Richard adjusted his cuff links with practiced ease while I shifted our 7-month-old daughter Lily to my opposite hip. Her teething ring soaked, my back aching from another night of broken sleep. I hadn't wanted to attend. Lily's low-grade fever had kept me up, and Richard had been curt for weeks, but he'd insisted in that low, unyielding tone. "We're not starting drama. It's my brother's wedding. Be presentable." So I pulled my hair back, zipped into the navy dress he chose, and rehearsed a smile in the mirror until it looked like it belonged on my face. We took our seats behind the first row, close enough for Thomas to meet Richard's proud grin, far enough for me to observe how the bride's gown caught every sliver of sunlight. I reached for Richard's hand. My fingers brushed his. He flinched like I'd scorched him. Then he leaned to my ear, voice as cold as the sea wind. "Don't embarrass me. You're just a baby carrier today. Look pretty, stay quiet." The words punched the air out of my lungs, but I laughed lightly, praying nobody saw my smile crack. The ceremony blurred, vows, applause, rice, until the speeches. Richard's mother wept through childhood tales. His father unfurled rehearsed jokes, and then Richard took the microphone, commanding the room the way surgeons command scalpels. Precise, lethal. He spoke of legacy, loyalty, and family tradition, and when he finished, Thomas, glowing, turned to me. "Claire, would you like to say a few words?" Richard stiffened. "You don't have to," he murmured, more order than comfort. I stood anyway. The mic trembled in my grip, colder and heavier than I expected. "Thank you," I began, voice smaller than the silence swallowing the hall. "Weddings are moments, aren't they? Moments we remember." I saw polite nods, heard Lily babble somewhere behind me. "I remember my wedding," I continued, glancing at Richard. His smile froze tight. I was 26, nervous, hopeful. I thought I was marrying a man who saw me. Someone shifted, silverware clinked. I imagined Sunday mornings with coffee, whispered baby names, someone holding my hand when my shirt was stained with formula. My voice steadied. "And sometimes you wake up years later and realize you're furniture, no longer a partner, just a vessel." Murmurs rippled. Richard's eyes blazed a silent threat, but I pressed on. "Thomas, Claire, see each other. Even when life turns loud, messy, hard. Because once you stop, marriage becomes performance." I set the mic down and walked off stage, heart banging against my ribs. Richard didn't follow until I'd slipped behind the catering tent. "What the hell was that?" he hissed. "You humiliated me." "I reminded them I exist," I answered. His nostrils flared. "Go home. We'll discuss your tantrum later." He pivoted back to the party, leaving me balancing Lily's weight and the weight of a decade. I drove home alone, Lily asleep, and let tears spill unchecked for the first time since labor. The next morning Richard poured coffee, kissed Lily's cheek, scrolled his phone as if nothing shattered. "I'm going to the gym," he said. "My parents at 3, don't bring up last night." That was it. He left me with dishes and silence. We hadn't always been like this. In college he was electricity in a tailored blazer, memorizing my favorite authors, drawing constellations on my forearm in permanent marker while we studied in the library basement. After the vows, the noticing faded. First a week, then whole seasons. By the time Lily arrived, I'd been demoted to unpaid help. He held our newborn once, stiffly, then claimed he was terrified of dropping her. Months later he still hadn't tried again. It was instinct, he said, mine, not his. Instinct was sleepless nights stitching burp cloths by lamplight while he networked over bourbon. Instinct was shoving resentment so deep even I couldn't find it. Until the wedding. The day after the speech, I printed an old resume, fingers shaking at how foreign my own name looked in bold Helvetica. I re-downloaded design software I'd abandoned when Lily was born. Richard noticed nothing or pretended not to. He started coming home later, reeking of whiskey and department store perfume, calling it client relations. One Thursday Lily burned with fever. I dialed his office. His assistant patched him through. "She needs urgent care," I said. His sigh crackled through the speaker. "You handle everything else, handle this." Blick. I swallowed the sting and spent 3 lonely hours in pediatrics. When a nurse asked if the father was joining, I lied. That night I opened a secret savings account with the $47 left from a forgotten Etsy sale. Felt like a revolution. Within a month I'd secured freelance gigs. Logo packs at midnight, website banners at dawn, while Lily napped on my chest and Richard slept the sleep of the unburdened. I told no one, not even Mom. She adored Richard's projections too much. Then Lauren, a college friend, DM'd me. "Saw your work on a blog. Need a remote designer interested?" Fear told me to say no. Hunger for myself typed yes. We met for coffee. I wore mascara armor. She studied me over the rim of her mug. "You're holding your breath," she whispered. "If you need help, my firm offers daycare stipends. We hire remote creatives." Hope was a dangerous drug. I took a hit anyway. 2 weeks later Dana from the agency offered me a part-time contract. When I printed the onboarding packet the next morning, Richard found the envelope. "You're working?" he asked, voice silk over steel. "Freelance," I said, heart hammering. "To feel useful." He smiled like a crocodile. "You should have consulted me." He walked away, but something darker followed him down the hall. From that night he surveilled, checking browser history, lingering behind doors. I found Secure Track hidden on my phone. GPS, mic, camera permissions. I deleted it, pulse in my ears, then hid essential documents beneath layers of plastic in the trashcan false bottom. I stashed an overnight bag for Lily in the trunk, burner phone taped behind the spare tire. I memorized the shelter address, the daycare route, the bus lines, escape choreography. Day after day I played perfect wife, perfect smile, while mapping my departure like a jewel heist. Then he escalated. One evening he called my mother, spun tales of postpartum paranoia, told her I was unfit. She repeated his words to me, voice trembling. Something icy replaced my blood. That night I filled the burner phone with emergency contacts and slept with it beneath my pillow. I waited for the house to breathe, then crept to Lily's crib, tracing the soft curve of her cheek in the red glow of the baby monitor. "Soon," I whispered. At 3:14 a.m. on a moonless Tuesday, I executed the plan. I dressed Lily in fleece, slid the diaper bag over my shoulder, tiptoed past Richard's office, light glimmering under the door, alcohol tang in the air. Outside, the night carried a hum of distant freeway and my own thudding pulse. I buckled Lily, started the engine, and rolled down the driveway just as the porch light blazed. Richard stepped out barefoot, confusion melting into rage. I accelerated, taillights carving red slashes into the dark. I didn't exhale until city lights dissolved behind me. The shelter was a plain brick building near the river, but to me it glittered like Versailles. Rosa greeted us, no questions asked, guided us to a room with pastel walls and a lock that answered my prayers. Lily slept within seconds. I lay awake, ears ringing with quiet. We were safe. Over the next 2 weeks I filed for a protective order, froze joint accounts before he could drain them, and documented every bruise he'd left on my pride. My attorney, Monica Silva, hurricane in stilettos, built a case so airtight even Richard's charm suffocated inside it. He spun rumors. Breakdown, abduction, unfit mother. Monica countered with screenshots, audio, and the tracker's digital fingerprints leading back to his laptop. Family court favored stability. I embodied it like armor. Still, Richard's family invited me to Thomas's post-wedding dinner. Public relations. Or maybe they sensed whose story the future would trust. Monica advised I attend, chin high, fear nowhere in sight. I borrowed a burgundy wrap dress from the shelter's donation closet, stepped into that event like a woman resurrected. Richard lurked by the bar, new shadows bruising his eyes. When Thomas offered me the microphone, "Your toast last time was unforgettable," I felt the room brace. I spoke of storms revealing foundations, of daughters who deserved mothers unbroken. I didn't name Richard, but every syllable was his mirror. Silence thundered louder than applause. Walking off stage, I met Richard's stare, void of power now, and passed him like a ghost through a man-shaped tomb. That night at the shelter, I rocked Lily under flickering hallway light and whispered the same 3 words until dawn colored the blinds. "We are free." Weeks later, the agency promoted me to lead designer on a national campaign. Lauren mailed a key-shaped pendant. "For doors you'll open." I signed a lease on the creaky 1-bedroom, moved in with thrift store furniture and wildflower seeds for the windowsill. Lily crawled across our new floor, laughing at dust motes dancing in sunbeams. I laughed too, sound rusty but real. Some mornings I still wake choking on phantom fear, heart hearing Richard's footsteps that aren't there. But most mornings I rise before Lily, brew coffee so strong it sings, and draft brand palettes in dawn's hush, earning dollars nobody can confiscate. I redecorate my memory, erasing handprints of control, repainting walls in colors Richard would hate. I frame a photo from college, the first logo I ever designed, bright and reckless, and hang it above my desk as proof I existed before his shadow. On Lily's first birthday, I invite no relatives, just shelter sisters and daycare friends. We eat cupcakes with too much frosting, and Lily smears blue across my cheek while giggling like forgiveness. After the guests leave, I carry her tiny sugar-sticky hand to my heart and dance barefoot to the hum of our aging fridge. We spin until both of us are breathless, dizzy, alive. I hated weddings once because they exposed hidden truths. But now I know truth isn't an enemy. It's escape velocity. And every day in this little apartment, with lilies blooming crooked in recycled jars, I marry myself to honesty again and again, vowing to see the woman in the mirror even when life turns messy, loud and hard. If you're hearing this, remember, sometimes love isn't what keeps you, sometimes leaving is. And leaving is not failure. It's the ceremony that saves your life.